How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome to my channel and welcome to an official hero guide on Hollow. This is a guide I'm very excited to make, and it's going to be slightly different than guides I've done in the past because I really want to focus on how to build her, how to gear her, what artifacts to use, and why you build her in certain ways for certain content. Hollow is absolutely one of the very, very best epic heroes in the entire game. I'd probably rank her third. I want to say third or fourth. You know, it depends on where Idril is going to fall into the mix, but in terms of just a sheer support and incredible healer and a ridiculous source of rage generation for your entire squad, especially in particular battles, she's really unmatched. Also, we will finish this video off with some gameplay, but the chief focus of this guide is going to be specifically how to build her, what gear, what artifacts, and what stats to shoot for. And she is someone that everyone will need on their account, not just free to play, not just whales, fricking everyone. So let's get into it and let's talk about Hollow.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Hollow is a cultist hero. She is an epic, and she unfortunately holds the designation as tied for the rarest epic in the game. At least from the last time we were able to see in the game file, she is tied with like Deimos and Estrid and Iona with a rate of 0.2%. That means for every 500 epics pulled, on average, one of them will be Hollow. Because of this, people can go thousands of summons without getting her, and many people will only ever get her when she is on raid up. She actually tomorrow is going on raid up with a 15x if you're watching this when the video does come out. I've only ever pulled her on 10x. I believe I've pulled her twice or 3 times when she had 10x's, and then the rest was with soul stones. So speaking of that, why is she such a strong candidate for the epic soul stones you pick up throughout your gameplay? Well, we need to understand her skills. So what does Hollow do? It's actually a very simple kit. There's a basic attack, which is then empowered by the ult, and then when the ult is happening, the passive does something. So let's get into it. Basic attack, for most healers, the basic attack is a basic heal, and like most healers, her attack speed is going to improve and lower the attack interval of how frequent those basic attack heals happen. Dolores really is the only exception in that regard, so like almost every other healer in the game, but with Hollow especially, you will want to build her with tons of attack speed. More on that later. But you can see here, grants attack-based healing to one ally. This is based off of her healing multiplier that we don't know what it is, but with skill ups, that can go up 10%. On to the ultimate. When triggered, and this is at max skill up, she is an epic hero, so you absolutely should max skill her. When triggered, increases the hero's healing multiplier by 45% for 20 seconds, and this is a key part here. The hero can heal one more target. So when we get to her Awaken level 1, this will make a ton of sense. Now you might be thinking, Hollow, Rage Regeneration hero, helping your whole team generate rage, hasn't been mentioned yet. Well, that is because even though this is the ultimate, Light of Bliss, there's another effect in the ultimate that they didn't fit in here. It goes in the passive, Energetic Bliss, and basically when Light of Bliss, the ultimate, is activated, this will also happen. So at max skill ups, recovers 1.4% rage for all allies in her range, and she does have that big boy vortex range I will show you in one moment, and that is every second. So over 20 seconds, every ally in range is getting 1.4% rage per second. Over those 20 seconds, you are looking at 28% rage for everybody. With that big range, when you can cluster your whole team in, that is a huge, huge benefit. But Hollow's rage generation prowess does not stop there. Onto Awakenings. So she's got great Awakenings, but it truly is Awaken level 1, and that's obviously the easiest one to get. That brings her from great to incredible. So what is it? Each instance of healing that Hollow provides, she will restore 1% rage to whatever ally or herself, whomever is healed by her. And that might not sound like much, but when you build Hollow Lightning Quick, as I'm going to show you that you should, this is a lot of rage. So whenever she gets that ult off, everyone in range is getting 28% rage, but also every single time she heals someone, they're getting another 1%. This is what makes her so special. So in content where she's not healing people up all the way to full, but she's keeping them healthy enough not to die, and heroes are taking damage enough that she's not healing them up to full, so they consistently need to be healed more, she truly, truly shines. Guild Boss is the #1 place for that, but also some Codex bosses, things like that. So if we go to A2 now, it's pretty basic, plus 1200 HP. That's fine. It just helps with her tankiness. and she definitely is a brittle hero. Now minus 100 on the skill cost. This one is amazing. We want her ulting as much as possible, so it gets cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. Now the A4 plus 5% attack. If you need her as a healer, this is important, but in a lot of content, you need her as like a bare minimum healer, so a lot of times you don't even need the extra attack. However, it is something you're willing to take on your way to A5, which is her next best awakening. I mean, A3 is kind of huge too, minus 100 cost, but this one's enormous. It's phrased very weird, but what it says is, at Awaken level 5, let me move my head a little bit, each cast of Light of Bliss, remember that is her ultimate, increases the efficiency of accumulating rage by 15% until the battle ends. This stacks up to 5 times. So by the end of the battle, her ability to accumulate rage will be up 75%. It is additive. I find the phrasing of this Awaken level 5 very confusing, so let me explain it far more clearly. Thank you to Terran and the game file information we have from there. Essentially what is happening, this increase in efficiency is represented in 2 ways. Straight up, each stack you will get an extra 15% Rage Regen. This number over here, the Rage Regen percentage, will be up 15% with each stack, all the way up to 75%. Additionally, Rage Regen Auto will increase each stack plus 3, so at 5 stacks it'll be plus 15. If you do not know, Rage Regen Auto is how much rage naturally, regardless of being attacked or doing attacks, a specific hero will generate every second. So it starts at 15, and then when you get max 5 stacks plus 15, it will actually be 30% rage generated completely passively for herself per second. She is becoming more efficient, and you want her to be efficient generating rage because then she can ult and be efficient in helping the whole team generate rage. This is kind of the nuts and bolts of Hollow. Now that we understand her skills, now that we understand her awakenings, we can get a vision, and I can lead you guys through how to get in there and build her. And actually, I'm going to build her from scratch. So let's take all that equipment off and let's get into it. Alrighty friends, so the first thing you actually should do when building Hollow, if you're not already familiar with this on your own account, is go to your Pantheon and figure out, thank you for the daily reward, figure out how much Rage Regen you are getting from your Pantheon. So as you guys can see, I've almost maxed out this stat over here from the Dragon Shelter. This is from Basic Trials and Esotericist Trials, so mine is very high. It's going to be higher than most of you guys. Not everybody, but most of you. It's going to max out at 80, and it's going to max out at 40%. You see mine is at 38%. Why is this significant? Because we absolutely want our Hollow hitting at least 100%. 100%, you don't need more than that. That is very much a soft cap. What do I mean by that? With all the Rage Regen percentage you build on her up to 100%, it has a very nice marginal benefit, each extra percentage added. After 100%, it's not such an impressive marginal benefit. So everything added after 100 doesn't help nearly as much. That is not to say it's a hard cap, like crit rate, where over 100% is just useless. That is not the case. However, it's just far less useful. So now I know I'm actually searching for 62% on my specific account. It's important you evaluate for your specific account. Because we know this, we can now focus on the other stats we're seeking out, namely by a mile with Hollow attack speed, but then also attack bonus, and heal effect. So let's get in here and let's talk about sets. Do you want to run a set on Hollow? Ideally, yes, and that absolutely should be an Invigoration set. If you're unfamiliar with the Invigoration set, let me show you guys over here. I can go here to Gear Sets, I can go to the list, and Invig is going to look something like this. So Heal Effect plus 25, that is nice for healer, but really all that matters is when deployed, the hero, so Hollow, and a random ally, but you can control this, in range will gain 10% attack. So this gives her a 10% post-deployment attack buff, and a 10% post-deployment attack buff to one ally in range. How can you control this? Well, if there's only one ally in range when you place her, it's guaranteed it will land on that hero. Or if there are several, but only one of them currently does not have an Invigoration buff, it guarantees it will go on that hero that is not wearing the Invigoration buff currently. This is really important, especially because you're going to use Hollow because she is a rage generator really as a support hero, and this is the best support set in the game that we have right now. So if you can run her in Invig, that is absolutely what you should do, but if you cannot, just don't. Broken set is absolutely fine. She'll get plenty healing without an Asclepius set or something like that, right? You don't need to do much. Just hunt for those main stats with the good substats that you would like. So I will build her in an Invig set, but I will give examples as I pick out gear for when you could have gone for not an Invig set and just picked random broken set pieces. Absolutely with Hollow, you want to go stats over sets. So I will show you Invig, but we're not going to sort by Invig because I want to show you alternative options, and I like to start with the ring. for literally everyone, basically. I could probably get away with it because I have a well-developed Pantheon, and if you wanted, you could go with a Golden Scarab artifact. More on that later. But if you are going to try to run her in a Euphoric Orb, which is what I'm going to use here, and I'll explain that again when we get to artifacts, you can't count on the big boost in Rage Regen percentage from the Golden Scarab, so I do think it's the most important that you do Rage Regen percentage on the ring. Also, when you're endgame like me, sure, the marginal benefit after 100% Rage Regen isn't much, but it still is a benefit. So I actually do not mind blowing past 100% Rage Regen as long as we can hit all the other stats that we really care about. That I'm going to tell you about now. So let's get into it. We're going to go for our rings. If you don't know, a ring is the only right side piece that can have Rage Regen as its main stat. If we click over here, you will see not an option, and then again, not an option. So you go to your ring. We're starting over here all the way on the right, and these are my options. So what do I want next? Well, for most content where Hollow will shine, you actually don't need her healing that much. So if we can pick up some attack bonus or flat attack or heal effect, that is good, but if we pick up too much, we're going to encounter the problem I kind of touched on before, where you're going to be healing your allies too aggressively, so then they'll be healed up, and then you can't take advantage of her A1. And remember, her A1, when she heals herself or an ally, they will get 1% of their rage cap back. If they're fully healed, you do not get to benefit from that amazing thing. So it definitely is a balancing act of making her a good enough healer for a lot of content, but in some content where you need tons and tons of rage, she can't be too good, or you're just missing out on a huge piece in her kit. So if we go back here again, and I'll try to be a little faster, by Rage Regen, we have got all these rings. You can see I've got 9 Rage Regen rings at plus 16. What do we care about next? Well, if you have to go broken set, ideally you're going to want a premium set, and this will be the same for all the pieces that we discuss because the main set is going to be 10% higher. On a normal ring, so when I say premium set, I mean this red and yellow gear. On a normal ring, like here, like this Monospring set, you can see at max level at 16, it's 60%. It's going to be 10% higher on a premium set and be 66%. So 6%, that's 10% of 60, that much higher. So if you have to go broken set and you can't grab the Invig, that is what you should go for. However, I am going to grab that Invig. So I'm going to look at these options and see what has the secondary stats I care most about. So by a mile, it is attack speed. If we could pick up attack bonus and heal effect, that would be cool. But for now, I really just want what has the most attack speed because I'm pretty confident with my gear I can get the attack levels and heal effect levels that I need while absolutely only giving a crap about attack speed. So if I did not care about Invig, I could just go over here, right? And this would be an amazing option if I want to go broken set. It is a premium set, Infernal Roar. We don't care about the set, just that it's red and yellow, so it's 66%, not 60, and it has a big purple attack speed roll of 71. Unfortunately, it looks like I actually don't even have an Invig option though, and I do want to build the proper set with attack speed, so now I have to go on to my next options. So I've got this one on Laurel over here. It's got tons of tanky stats, and then I've got this one over here that actually has great healing stats. I actually am going to opt to go for this piece because picking up some healing stats now, again, I don't want her to be too good of a healer, but picking up some of the healing stats now means I can ignore more healing stats later, which likely I will do. So unfortunately, I personally am taking an L there by going for the Invig set, by not being able to get a Rage Regen ring that has attack speed. I just don't have one yet, so I'm definitely going to continue keeping an eye out for that like I have for the past 100 days, but so far no luck. And now we're on to the Amulet. So if you don't know, the same way you can only get Rage Regen as a main stat on rings, you can only get attack speed as a main stat on amulets. And I do not care if you are day 1 early game or you are day 300 end game super whale, you beat everything player. Every hollow in the world needs an attack speed amulet. It is simple as that. So what do you think the first secondary stat we're going to look for is? Well, it's going to be Rage Regen. I don't mind a little overkill, as I said. So we'll go for Rage Regen. If you want to go for a full healer build, you can also click attack bonus and heal effect. And you can see I don't have an Invig one, but if I did want to go full heal, I could grab this Nasande and even ascend it into Invig. That's an important thing to remember. Building Invig sets, it is pretty awesome, so that's not something you should forget about. I'm absolutely not going to do that, though. We already picked up some great healing stats over here with the attack bonus and heal effect, so I'm super comfortable just leaning into that Rage Regen and taking an L if I have to. So ignore the attack bonus, ignore the heal effect, and let's see what we've got in the Invig department. I actually have 3 options. So you can see this is a nice big Rage Regen at 21.5% with some heal effect. Then we've got 19% with some heal effect. No attack bonus on any of these. And then this one has a ton of attack, actually probably too much. And it has the least Rage Regen. If I put all this attack on Hollow, my Hollow is going to end up as an amazing healer. She's going to keep everyone fully healed, and she won't be able to keep healing them and giving them rage. So I definitely don't want that one. The choice is between this one on Trusk and this one that was on her before when I unequipped, and this was the right choice, right? The heal effect is nice, but most importantly, I want to max that frickin' Rage Regen out. Now, for main stat on the Bangle, you can't get Rage Regen, you can't get attack speed. The two options for you, for most players, are going to be attack bonus or heal effect. You also could be going for like HP bonus if you need your Hollow tanky. She has pretty low base stats in that department. I can actually show you right now. 10k, it's not terrible at all, but that's partially because I have Array 2, an extra 1200 base HP comes from that. However, you know, some content, you cannot have your Hollow dying. It doesn't matter how well built your Hollow is for Guild Boss if she's, you know, as brittle as a twig and she's going to die and blow up your whole run, right? So that could be an option, but then you're really going to have to be hunting your healer stats because you will have ignored basically your attack bonus and heal effect main stats on your ring and your amulet. So to do that again on the Bangle is going to be hard for most players. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to search which has the biggest Rage Regen, which has the biggest attack speed, and you'll get to see some options. So you can see over here, if I wanted to pick up like some defense percentage, the best thing is on my Mari. Kind of makes sense. She's also like a support spammer hero, really like a debuffing hero. Better put that way than a support. I probably do want some attack bonus because as you're going to see when I move left, I am going to completely ignore attack bonus kind of sets, and I want to try to pick up a bunch of attack speed and Rage Regen. You see the theme here. So let's go for attack bonus here. Here's an Invig piece, and this one fits pretty nicely. So it's going to give us a nice chunk of the healing that we need to get her to the finish line. When you're shooting for this like end game content, specifically when you're shooting for Guild Boss, you want your Hollow with at least in the high 9,000s of base attack, and then no more than 100 heal effect, but up to, let's say, 80 to 100 heal effect. That's going to be the end game Guild Boss thing. If this was not for Guild Boss, you can push that attack super high to 12k, 13k, 14k, as long as you're not neglecting your Rage Regen and your attack speed. That should definitely make her a competent enough healer that no one is ever dying in any end game content. However, specifically in Guild Boss, you can get away with way less attack and ride that perfect line, do that perfect balancing act of having her just good enough as a healer, but not too good so that she's keeping people fully healed. Because we want people with high health, but not full health, if that makes sense. I think that's the best way to put it. So this piece probably is going to be the best option for me. I also could take a peek at what's going on in the heal effect department and see. We've got this piece on Elowyn. That could be pretty nice. We actually could throw that on now, and maybe I can do it live, because clearly, if you can't tell, this was the piece that I had on before her when I quick unequipped. You know, maybe we can make it work with this one, and maybe we'll see why I chose one piece over another. So this one has more Rage Regen, 22.5%. This one has 17. That's a pretty stark difference. 55 attack speed on this one, and over here we are at 57. So let's throw this on. This would be a nice, you know, really min-max and push to the limit the Rage Regen and the attack speed. So what's going to happen over here? Well, what I like to do right now, I like to already equip the artifact because I want to see what the base attack stat contribution is going to do. Because if we look right now, our attack is in the toilet. It is dog water. 5,200, nearly 5,300. That's not going to cut it. We want to eventually end up like in 9.5 to 10k. That's going to be that sweet spot. 9.8 would probably be the dream from all my testing and knowing my personal Pantheon. You'll have to work it out yourself, but I think that 9.5 to 10k is like the really, really sweet spot, maybe 9.8 to 10k. If you want to be more conservative, do like 10k to 11k. But you'll test it out, you'll figure it out yourself. So by putting this, I'll get to already have a better vision of what my attack's going to look like, because we're going to get a huge base stat contribution. Since me personally, I'm going to use a very high level, high promo mythic artifact. For you, it might be different if you're earlier on, depending on the kind of build, the kind of thing you were going for. So the best two options by a mile for Hollow are going to be a Golden Scarab. This is going to give her a little attack, so help with her healing since she is an attack-based healer, and a ton of Rage Regen. It starts at base at 25%. When you max this out, which I have not yet done, it will be 50%. But as you can see, we're already just killing it in the Rage Regen department. I have the contribution of 38% from my Pantheon, and we have 110%. So I'm at 148%. We're good to go. Don't worry, don't overthink it. I'm talking to myself right now. So I'm going to go for the extra supporty piece, and that is going to be Euphoric Orb. It increases the attack speed of all heroes in range by 30 every 60 seconds for 40 seconds. This is what it's like at max promo. At lower promos, not too thrilling. It's only going to be, yes, by 30 every 60 seconds, but it's only going to last for 10 seconds. So the uptime is 1/6 every minute, 10 seconds per minute, as opposed to 2/3, 40 seconds per minute. That's an enormous difference. It's 4 times more potent, right? So because I've got the max at one, I will go for this. Otherwise, you guys might be far better off, especially if you need the Rage Regen and can't hunt for it the way I am, grab that golden scarab. Even at base promo, with the 25%, not the 45 or 50%, it's still pretty great. You can have a little extra attack, so she'll be a bit better of a healer if you can't find your other stats in subsets like I've been doing. Also give a shout out to the Oneiric Band. When the ultimate's triggered, it's increasing her attack, so she'll be a better healer, and then it increases attack speed. Only her attack speed, not allies, not people in range, but this is something pretty cool. We're going for the Euphoric Orb, though. This is what I like the best on her for my specific account. Now we're going to move over to the left side. So what matters the most on left side? Well, we want as much attack speed as possible. So there's two ways to do this, right? We can lean into our Whirlwind set, and we basically just find which weapon has attack speed. Oh, and I need to point out, I'm sorry guys, now that we threw this on, right? Now that we have this contribution of 1407 attack, I'm going to have a better picture. Even though it's not showing up here, when we click it, you will see we're actually at 6,700. So I'm only about 3,200 away from where I want to be, 3,200. I want to be at like that 9.8, 9.9, 10K range. And I'm also getting a huge contribution from the main stat over here, nearly 1,000, just by having a weapon. A maxed out weapon is giving a big flat stat, main stat contribution. So there's two ways to get a bunch of attack speed, right? How do you get attack speed? Attack speed cannot be present on a breastplate unless it's ancient, so you can get as much attack speed as possible on the weapon and then go for a set bonus. So ideally, if you just wanted a max attack speed, would be Whirlwind. You also, if you have Warlord, the premium set, this is going to be an attack boost and then a 30 attack speed bonus, so not as strong as the 75 with Whirlwind, but still pretty good. So if I was going to do it this way, we can go by attack speed. I'm assuming it's going to be on Mari or something. We've got something on Livian over here, and you can see there's no heal effect. Obviously, there's no Rage Regen. You cannot get Rage Regen on your weapons and breastplates unless they are ancient. There's actually no heal effect. So this would be a good way to grab 72 attack speed, and we even get 18% attack bonus. There you go. And then the only way I'm getting attack speed on a Whirlwind set breastplate is going to be if I've got an ancient and I was very lucky. I actually don't have that at all, so I cannot do that. So the next thing to do would be you evaluate. You see we're at 8.4, so I need some more attack. Heal effect is pretty solid over here at 133, better than pretty solid, so we're killing it with heal effect. So really all we would want to do is try to find some sweet spot with a Whirlwind. So we could pick this up, and let's see now, 9.6, it's pretty good, 9.65. We got all the heal effect. We got tons of Rage Regen at 110, plus the 38%. Then we've got our attack interval at 1.5, and I would say that is very much the goal. You want your attack interval of at most 1.5. Earlier on, you could be 1.6, 1.7, probably not higher than that. Later on, hopefully the build we're going to end up with here, if I can pull it off, will be 1.4. I may not be able to do that, though, because I'm taking an L on this ring that doesn't have an attack speed sub. However, this would be a pretty fine build, right? I do think we can do better, though, because remember, even though the returns are diminishing, no reason not to pick up even more Rage Regen. And I also have touched on already, if you've been paying attention, another way to get attack speed besides a Whirlwind, right? And besides just your weapon. Well, if they're an ancient, you can get attack speed on your breastplate. And if it is a salvation piece, which is going to give her more heal effect to make her a better healer, but if it's a salvation piece, you are guaranteed always on salvation pieces, unless that gets bugged too, always include on a salvation ancient attack speed and Rage Regen as substats. So there you go, attack speed, Rage Regen, attack speed, Rage Regen, attack speed, Rage Regen. It will be the same for the weapons if we can find them. Attack speed and Rage Regen over here. Let me sort by Rage Regen. We should have, yes, and then we got one more example right there, attack speed, Rage Regen. So there you go. That's kind of how it works, and that is what I'm going to opt for, because I really want to push this to the limit. You can get a bonus of 75, and you can get a big roll over here of 80, or you can just get two big rolls on two pieces that are ancients of attack speed, specifically the breastplate. So I'm going to go here, and I want as much attack speed as possible. That is by far the most important thing to me. So 85 here with 22.5% Rage Regen. Let's take that. And finally, over here, let's see, we go for attack speed. And this one actually doesn't have any attack bonus, so we might be in a touch of trouble. We'll have to see, but it's got 69 attack speed. Very nice. So what are we looking at now? Some crazy numbers, right? We've got attack way too low, so we're going to have to reevaluate at 7.6, but we've got super high attack speed at 531. I'm still not at that 1.4 second interval. Again, I'm taking an L in the ring, and then Rage Regen through the absolute roof. However, that attack stat is just not high enough. It needs to be like 2K higher. So we know this could be like the optimal thing for Rage and for speed, but we've taken too big of a loss on attack. I have to reevaluate. So it's back to the right side gear, and it's back to the Bangle. This heal effect, it's too much. Our heal effect is just too high. We're wasting stats, right? We're at 196. That is not counting Pantheon contribution. This is just a ton. Heal effect also has a clear soft cap of 100. It's not a hard cap, but for perspective, to get to maximum potency healing, you need 200 heal effect. To get to 75% potency healing, you need 100. So the first 100 gives you 75%, the next 100 only gives you 25%. This is far, far too much. This is why this one was on Elowyn and should not be on Hollow. So we can quickly make up for this by throwing on our Invig set again, going to attack bonus, and seeing what we can work with. On the main stat, obviously. And let's go for attack speed. Let's see, what can we find? So this is a nice big attack speed, and this one also has some Rage Regen. Obviously, I'm going to take that, even some heal effect to boot. And there we go. We have built our Hollow, coming in at 10.4. So slight overkill there, unfortunately, but from my own testing, she's still healing frequently enough. If I wanted to min-max this perfectly and I had better gear, we would get that attack speed substat over here on the ring. I could get her to a 1.4 second interval, and I could probably find some more gear with a little bit less attack bonus, right? So maybe we have a different ring I'll get without this huge attack bonus roll, but instead we have a huge attack speed roll. That might bring us down towards this 9.8, 9.9, and get that attack speed up over like 600, which a lot of players will run, and then we'll have that 1.4 interval. I believe the 1.4 kicks in the high 500s, not even 600 is needed. But that should hopefully give you a good sense. Obviously, I'm doing an advanced build here, but I think you can imagine how it would fit in for you. If you need your Hollow healing her Took-Us-Off, right? If you need her doing some good healing, this over here could be Calamity or Warlord. You'll get a lot more attack that way from the set bonus. Or don't run a Rage Regen ring. Run some attack bonus main, right? And then over here, you can do a Golden Scarab, or you can do that Oneiroc Band to make it for some speed and extra attack. And you'll see how you can do that Rage Regen balancing act using the Pantheon and all the information that you have about your account. So there you have it. This went on long, but I would think I was very thorough. That is how I build my Hollow. Let's quickly, this is not going to be a huge ending. Let's just take her into Guild Boss and see how this thing's going to work. All right, I wanted that gearing to be kind of short and sweet. It was a little bit more long and complex, but I really hope you guys got something out of it. If you like that deep dive level of gearing, let me know in the comments. If you want it more concise in the future, also let me know in the comments. Let's take this girl into battle. So we're going to go to Guild Boss. Basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to start an auto fight in Nightmare 4, but this is not about the end result of the fight or anything. I'm just going to click auto so we can get our placements out. Then I'm going to interrupt it and just talk you through a couple of the key mechanics that makes Hollow such a superstar in this kind of fight. So everyone's out. We can interrupt here. You can see Hollow is ready to ult. So what's going on here? Here is Hollow. She's over here on the left. You can see she's ready to do Light of Bliss, her ultimate. When she does that, her passive, the Rage Regeneration passive, Energetic Bliss will kick in. Nothing matters with timings right now. That's not what I'm showing off. I've got plenty Guild Boss guides and takeovers. I really just want to explain the mechanics. So you can see, what is making her really shine here? Well, it's really three things. First off, everyone is fitting into her range. These like lit up blue tiles, she is covering every single hero, every single one of our heroes on the map, all of her allies. Because of that, she now has like no negative to her. Elowyn is amazing in part just because of crazy, consistent, nutso, non-dependent at all passive rage regeneration, but also because she can give that rage and generate that rage for any hero anywhere on the map. They do not need to be in her range. For Hollow, that is not the case. They need to be in her range for her ultimate, and then to take advantage of her A1, she needs to be healing them, and to heal them, they obviously need to be in her range. In this fight and fights like it, where you can cluster all your team together, all allies on the map are together and thus in her range, so she no longer has that negative when compared to someone like Elowyn. Next up, as you can already see right now, let's resume the battle, everyone's taking damage. This dragon, he might not hit that hard all the time. Sometimes he does, especially if you're not geared for it, but he consistently does put out some form of damage, so your allies will just not be sitting there for huge portions of the battle, not taking any damage and at full health, thus not being able to be healed by Hollow and get that 1% increase in their rage cap from her A1 when she heals them. The final thing, the third thing, right, is going to be Laurel. So Hollow, her rage regeneration is not just coming from the A1 and the basic heals, but also when she actually does her ultimate. That is very different than Elowyn, who it's strictly her auto passive. With Hollow, she is directly generating rage when she ults. Because of that, we can take big advantage by putting her next to Laurel, putting her in Laurel range, and allowing Laurel to spam cycle ults for her and the rest of the team. With the ability to cycle Hollow's ult more frequently, we in turn will be cycling everyone else more frequently, because every time she's ulting, it's more rage for the whole party, right? So let's see that in action. Obviously, all the timings right now are suboptimal. It's really just about demonstrating mechanics. So let's watch. As we trigger Hollow right now, I'm actually going to wait for Pyros to finish for a key thing so you can see it. We're going to wait for Hollow. We're going to go, and look, Pyros is at 6%. Let's throw this on 2. He's going up. by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, one at a time, right? 52, 53, and then all of a sudden, he went from 53 to 61. That is Pyros directly getting rage from Hollow's ult. So that is huge. He is getting, that's that 1.4%. Every time he is also healed by Hollow, you can see his base is 500. That's going to be another 5 rage that he's getting, another 1% of his cap that she gives him. So right there, immediately she's giving a huge benefit. Moreover, you can see Hollow's ulting, but while she's ulting, she's generating rage for everyone else around her, and whenever she heals herself, she's also giving herself rage, 1% of her cap, which you can't see right now because she's ulting, but you'll see once we pick her up. And moreover, you can see she's right next to Laurel. Laurel range is all the squares directly around her, all the tiles in a square above her, 3 above, 3 below, right and left. Let's pick up her, and you'll see all those little rage icons appeared. Now you'll see when Hollow is done, she's directly benefiting from Laurel as well. So she's already at 83%. So she got, you can see her max thing was at 800. Let me throw this on 1x. Oh, don't fill up. It's at 800. She got 400 all at once. Boom, right? Whenever she heals herself, that's 8%. The whole thing is working in perfect harmony. It's a great synergy. And now look, she's ready to ult all over again. So we can ult with her. Let's click on Lust over here. 68, 688, 89, 90, 91, 93, 94, and we're going to see a big jump in a second whenever that 1 second ticks, and all of a sudden up to 707. And that is from it. Now look, immediately Hollow was able to ult again. We were able to take advantage of her ult. It came up more quickly because of Laurel. Everyone fit in the range. She's healing people. I know it's a lot maybe to take in all at once if you didn't understand how this worked. I hope I explained it well enough, but really we have those 3 key things working together in harmony that makes this work so effectively and makes Hollow such a clear superstar for all teams. Early, mid, late, end, free to play, uber whale kraken. Let's finish off by just looking at the world leaders in Guild Boss, and that will tell you everything you need to know. So here is Jet, aka Phoebu, #1 in the world, 115k blood, obviously using Hollow. #2, Hollow. Let's just go down the list. Hollow, 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 Hollow. When will we find our first team without Hollow? Hollow, 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 Hollow. Is this our first one? Nope, there's Hollow. Is this our first one? Nope, Hollow, Hollow. And then we finally find one. Nope, Hollow. Finally, there we go, at number 17. So the first 16 teams we saw, the top 16 teams in the world, they're all using Hollow. Now here is our first team without Hollow, and it is with Elowyn. And the reason they are doing that is because they're opting not to do a Laurel strategy. They're pairing the legendary Elowyn with the legendary Lord Leia, and for that reason, they find that they can get away without using Hollow. But that is not to say that using these crazy legendaries is better, because all these guys up here have all of those heroes with plenty of awakenings. There's an A5 Leia as well. Phoebu was choosing not to use Elowyn, but to use Hollow for all the reasons I've articulated in this video. She truly is a superstar. Maybe one day you will have yours built like that. Look at that perfect 9.8 that I was going for. Jet hitting it out of the park. I hope this guide wasn't too in the weeds, and I hope it helps you gear your Hollow to maximum benefit and really leads to some huge results. If you want to see proper Guild Boss content, I have plenty guides. I stream it all the time. This is about Hollow and how to build the chick. I really hope you enjoyed it. That's all I can say. This took me forever. If you want to see more stuff like this, let me know. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon.
Fastidious.